Salvete omnes. If you'd like to support the channel along with these patrons, there's a link in the description box below. The accusative case was used for more than just the direct object in Latin, as we'll see in this video. But first, let's make sure we know how to use it properly with a direct object. In English, word order can change the meaning of a sentence. For example, one of the following sentences is more surprising than the other. Dog bites man, man bites dog. But Latin does not usually have fixed word order. The words have to change form in order for us to tell which word performs which function. The easiest case is for first declension nouns. Do you know how to say, he or she writes a letter? Epistulam scribit. We simply add an M to denote what object is written. The word order is flexible. We can say, Petassum agricola gerit. This does not mean that the hat is wearing a farmer, but it does put a bit of emphasis on the fact that it is a hat that the farmer is wearing. Like it's answering the question, what is he wearing? The farmer is wearing a hat. And this is the regular form for second declension nouns. We change petassus to petassum, exchanging the S for an M. There are a few nouns like puer, in which we have to add us, and also liber, which changes to librum. Do you know the form for third declension? Try to say, I have a dog. Canem habeo. For third declension nouns, we add em to the stem form of the noun, which in this case is can. Fourth declension nouns look like second declension nouns, but decline differently for some forms. For the accusative case, though, we don't have to worry because it's manus manum lavat. One hand washes the other. A common fifth declension noun is dies, or day. And how do we say seize the day? Carpe diem. This really means harvest the day, or make the most of it. But this makes a good segue into the next use of the accusative of time. To indicate a duration of time, we use the accusative, as in totum diem laboravi. I worked all day. Here, diem is not the object of the verb. He was not working the day, or something like that. Try to figure out the next sentence. Tre decem annus natus est. This literally means he was born for 13 years. But it's the way of saying he is 13 years old. And annos is the plural form of annum. The next phrase is a little harder. Hic tres menses manebo. I will stay here for 3 months. This ending es on menses is the plural accusative ending for the third declension. Maneo means I stay or reside. I think of it like I maintain myself here. And it's in the future tense here. When we talk about going somewhere, we often use the preposition ad plus accusative. But some words just use the accusative case alone. It's similar to how in English we say, I went to the bank, and also, I went home. It's the same for the word home in Latin, and also for the word Rome, as in, omnes viae Romam ducunt. All roads lead to Rome. Here, Romam itself means to Rome. There are many prepositions that trigger the accusative, a lot of which involve movement, like ad, trans, and per. The difficult prepositions are the two-way prepositions, like in. These can be followed by either a noun in the ablative or accusative case. We use the ablative case when we are talking about the location of an action. So, in silva ambulabat means he or she used to walk in the forest. But we use the accusative case when there is movement involved. So, in silvam ambulabat means he or she used to walk into the forest or enter the forest. Another preposition like in is super. In exclamations, the subject is declined in the accusative case. For example, me miserum, poor me. As you can see, we do the same in English. We don't say poor I. And quid boni canes? What good dogs? Note here that when we use an adjective, it has to match the noun in case, gender, and plurality. Here it is accusative masculine plural. But since the two words are of different declensions, their endings don't look alike. Bonus is second declension, while canis is third. Let's try a sentence now with the adjective fortis. Can you tell what declension this is? Third, right? But it's an adjective. All adjectives are either third declension or decline in either first or second declension depending on the gender of the noun. It's kind of weird. But let's try to say now, I teach the strong student. Discipulum fortem doceo, or discipulam fortem doceo. It declines the same for masculine and feminine nouns. For third declension adjectives, we don't need to worry about gender except when we have a neuter noun. For example, animal forte. This is the only case where we don't have an M. That's one thing to watch out for. Let's move on to a harder concept now. When we have an embedded clause, we have to use the accusative case for the subject of that clause. For example, video te canem habere. I see you have a dog. The subject of the clause, you have a dog, becomes te instead of tu, and the verb gets put in the infinitive form. But this becomes more complicated when we have a participle, as in the following. Poetas legentes video. I see the poets reading. The subject of the whole sentence is an unstated ego, but the subject of the dependent clause, the poets, gets declined in the accusative. And not only that, the verb of the dependent clause, reading, gets declined in the accusative. This is the participle of legere. And if you remember, to form a participle, we chop off the re, add nt, and then decline it like a third declension noun. So it becomes legentes. In sum, here are the 5 declensions in their singular and plural forms. Do you see the pattern? All the singular forms end in m, and all the plurals in s. That's pretty convenient, but we also have to be careful because the plural genitive forms all end in also. If you didn't know that, check out my video on the genitive form, linked here. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share, and if you can, help support the channel on Patreon, where there are audio downloads and transcripts of each dialogue and story. Gratias!